What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's games just because I think for the NBA, we have a nice little schedule. It's going to be TNT, which is always fun, and we've been doing very well with the NBA lately. That being said, it's certainly not an easy night. I see a couple of games of conflicting narratives. We have 11 games in total, and as always, I do this every video. If this is your first time watching me, this is not to be redundant, but what I do is I always make sure to every single video, we put out our picks ahead of time, how much units, what we're going to be playing them for, and then we recap it later that night, and then we go into our next day's picks. So we did well yesterday, finished 9-5. Again, that video will literally be the last one on the playlist. The picks are the one before that. And we finished 7-1 yesterday in the NBA, or the day before in the NBA. As far as tonight, I like college a little more, but there are some good NBA games as well. The first game I like is Middle Tennessee to cover Florida Atlantic, and I am playing that for 2 units, okay? If you're new, what does that mean? That means that it's going to be a second leg. So I'm going to look for a game that we lost, like the Spurs covering the Lakers did not hit yesterday, and we're going to go ahead and make that leg 2 for 2 units. A win profits a unit. Obviously, you adjust for juice. So, but, in my case, it's typically 29-30 to win around 25. You should be getting minus 105 or reduced or some kind of bonus if you're making this many plays on your book. If you're not taking advantage of that, then that's something that you should be. Again, it'll either be a bonus just by your plays or a reduced juice bonus. They all offer them. So, whether it's minus 105, just make sure you can play to win a unit or you can risk a unit. At the end of the day, it's about profiting and making sure every single sequence is closed out at a profit. That is the goal of the system. So Middle Tennessee covers is a leg 2 there. I do think that it's going to be a cover there. And then we have UAB LA Tech under. I like that one to go under. And the reason I'm not showing you guys all the spreads is because, again, this is going to be on you. Okay, I can't hand walk people through this, and I'm just being honest. I bring this up every video. This needs to be where, again, people know what they're doing. If God forbid, I'm sick for a day or something. So I go over this every single time. I wait for the closing ESPN spread that matches up with the metric. As we can see, FAU is very good against the spread. I don't think that's not going to hold. This 84% that they're at. So I love, and for that same reason, people are going to take them to cover the spread continuously. That's what happens. And then they start losing a bunch. It happened to UConn. It happened to Louisville. Louisville lost a bunch in a row, then started winning. UConn won. I think they were 8-2 on the spread or something, 9-2, and then they started losing. It happens with all these teams. So here I love Middle Tennessee State to cover, but I'm taking the +9. Okay, I'm waiting until it's closer to 7, so I get the as close to I want to match it up to the ESPN closing line or get a half point better in my favor. Okay, so don't just take what your book gives you, because I've been going over this every video. There's a reason books vary. I match mine up to the ESPN closing line, and especially with metrics like this, where it's teams that are horrible against the spread, like or great against the spread, like Florida Atlantic. So that's the reason I went with, in this game, Florida Atlantic or fading them, taking Middle Tennessee State for 2 units. Next, we got UAB LA Tech under. Same principle. It's redundant. So I think that game goes under because UAB has been so ridiculous on the over this year. So on this game, it's going to be the exact same thing. We are not going to just lock it in. We're going to wait until close to 9, wait to the over-under, and then we'll see what it's at. It might move to 151. You just don't know, and that makes a difference. So, I wait for the ESPN closing spread as close to it as I can get, and then I'm going to lock that in. And again, say it closes at 150. I'm taking 150 or 150.5. I'm not going to make sure. I'm going to make positive that the ESPN spread I have matched or beat. Okay, so that's why I like that. The reason I showed you guys that is you can see I don't want to belabor it by going back and forth and showing you every single spread. People should be able to find the ESPN closing spreads on their own. So that kind of stuff, I do everything I can to show everything in advance. But again, the spreads close up to the last second. So, unless you guys give me like a bad signal, you're going to have to get the closing spread and wait. And it's vitally important. If you want to test me on that and just grab a bunch of games on the metrics and then wait for the line to close only to get clipped, go for it. But I'm trying to go over this as best I can with people because I literally made a video showing just how easy this is, and I'm still getting dozens of questions. And I don't mind questions, but it makes me feel like people just aren't listening. So, yeah, ESPN closing spreads what we're taking. That's why I don't care what the over-under is on these games. I picked the under. I decided I was taking the under on the UAB game before I knew who they were playing or what the over-under was going to be. These are simple metrics, okay? They might be boring, but they're efficient. That's why we're up 75 units. SD Pepperdine, same thing. I think that game goes on under, okay? San Diego's been ridiculous against the spread this year. So this one's going to be for 1 unit. So unless I specify, and unless you see 2 legs, 2 units, it's going to be a leg 1. And if it's leg 2 for 2 units, then it's going to be second part of a sequence, okay? So obviously we're not playing this one twice. We're just playing it as a second leg for the Spurs loss. Now we're at Stetson Liberty. Same thing, under. Stetson's been ridiculous on the over this year. I think they go under. And then this is my favorite college play, Merrimack Central Con. I went 3 legs on the over because of just, again, how bad they are on the over. It's abysmal. And it just, again, you don't continue at 10% on the year. So now we look for one where we've lost 2 in a row. And we're going to make this a 3rd leg. Here we go. Wolves cover Rockets the other night. Did not hit for us as a 2-legger. Leg 3 is Merrimack. And that's going to be for 4 units. Again, the goal is to profit at right around the unit for every sequence, even if we lose 2 of 3. So it's not that, complicated. But there's also more to the system. It's not just a standard chase system. So again, I have a video on how we've done so well, and I'll continue to go into it. I feel bad for the people that watch these videos because you're hearing the same stuff, but I'm also hearing the same questions, and I have to answer them. So for the people that still don't understand the system, where you've seen 2 videos, this is what I'm trying to go into here. So now we got our NBA plays. So these are all of our, and again, since this is a leg 3, we're not playing it twice. We're only playing it the one time. It's going to be as a leg 3 here for the over Merrimack Central Con. And again, wait for the closing spread. So whatever the closing spread is, make sure, since this one, as you can see, is an over, you want to wait until ESPN closes. Say it closes at 132. I have no clue what it's at right now. Then get at least 132. 132. Or you want to get 131.5 since it's an over. So 132 or a half point better every single time. Now we got NBA. And the NBA is close. It's not all metrics. This is more narratives, trying to gauge where the public's at. Now, for the first 2 games, I've noticed something. A lot of times when you have like 2 games start off like this where they're the 7 games, the 7:30 games, and they play around the same time, you'll have like 2 teams and they're both 9, 10-point favorites. I've noticed in the last several occasions, they've split. So on one occasion, there's been like a very close game, and then the other one was just a complete routing. Knowing that, I am going to invoke that logic, and these are all leg 1s, by the way. So every one of these is just 1 unit. So you don't need to know anything more. The only leg 3 was Merrimack going over, and the only leg 2 was Florida Atlantic being covered. So fading Florida Atlantic. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know that. The rest are for 1 unit. Now, knowing this, I'm going to actually take the Celtics to cover. And it's because I think way more people are expecting, okay, Knicks will keep it close. 8.5, people might tease that. And they haven't been terrible. So I think a lot of people at this point are going to be taking that many points with the Knicks and possibly the potential upset on the money line. So I do like the Celtics here to cover this one. And then I'm going to take in contrast the Pistons to cover the net spread. So I got the Celtics minus 8.5, and I'm taking the Pistons plus 8.5 because I think people are more expecting the Knicks to be a close game than the Pistons Nets. And that's kind of how Vegas does a little swerve on people, in my opinion. So I do think this Celtics game on TNT will be revealing, and they'll run away late, and I think they cover. Same thing with the Pistons. Bulls, so I didn't forget, today is 1-2-6. Very important day. And as you can see, we have a 6-point favorite. So I do find it interesting. It's both of Michael's teams playing. And I think on the anniversary of Kobe's disappearance, they would go ahead and make this where the Bulls improve to 23 wins. Charlotte would also stay on 13, which is another interesting number. So to me, I suppose you could say, well, they could lose and make the Bulls could go 26. Well, look at 1-2-5, 1-2-3, 1-2-4. It didn't really pan out. I looked at the teams that would have finished with 25 wins, 24 wins these last couple days. That definitely is not what they're doing because the numbers don't even close to add up there. So I'm not saying it's an impossibility. I'm saying I'm playing the narrative, the symbolism. I think Jordan gets 23 for the Bulls here by losing, and I'm going to take the Bulls to cover. Cavaliers, Rockets, I like the Rockets to cover for the simple fact they're around 40% right now against the spread, and that's right within historical norms, just not enough within historical norms. And I do think that they're going to wind up getting this cover. And the second reason I like it is because the Cavs are, if you look at them, -9. I think that's just a little excessive on the points. I know the Rockets suck, but they typically reserve the 9-10 points for your Bucks at home, your Sixers at home against a team that's just abysmal. And yeah, the Rockets are the worst team. But again, when you're at home, they usually will flip the points a little bit. And I've seen these kind of matchups before where you'll see something very, very similar. It might not be Cavaliers, Rockets, but you'll see something very similar. It'll be something like, you'll see like Celtics Pistons, we'll take for example, and it'll be in Detroit, and it'll be like a 6 to 7 pointer. So I saw it earlier this year. I think these numbers are mostly psychological. But yeah, I'm taking the Rockets here to cover the 9. Mavs Sun is the one that's had me tossed for so many reasons. It's because there's so many narratives. You have the fact that you would think people would be on the Suns here, on the Suns on the Mavs, because you got Booker hurt, Payne hurt, and no injuries for the Mavs. Now, Christian Wood is actually injured, so they're not showing it, but he is. But then the Mavericks, you would think, because Luka's looked unstoppable, and like I said, no injuries for the Suns. Then you have people that might be on the Suns because they're at home, and when these guys played in the playoffs last year, the home team won every single game except Game 7, and the Suns are getting it together. So there's really arguments for both teams. You can see the Suns took the first one at home. The Mavs took theirs at home. Now the Mavs suck against the spread. They're really bad. So that makes me think, okay, we should take the Mavs. So I'm telling you, this one's going back and forth so many times. At the end of the day, I decided to take the Suns. The reason I have the Suns here is because I do think that at the end of the day, they're going to keep the narrative that these are two feisty teams and the home team is edging it out. And then Luka will probably take his last one at home. So I do like the Suns here to cover this game. And then you combine, without Booker and Payne, they should really be taking, in my opinion, the public should be all over the Mavs. So I'm going to take the Suns on this cover. Last one is the Suns-Clippers, and I just went with the over. I'm sorry, Spurs-Clippers, and I just like the over. For the simple fact, both teams have not been great on the over. That makes the public conditioned to bet the under. And because at the end of the year, they have to finish in the mid-30s, something like that, or better against, on the over-under, if these teams aren't going to defy history. And right now, they're right around 40, the very low 40s, high 30s maybe. So I think it makes sense to kill two birds with one stone and let both these teams go over tonight. Clippers are known for playing a very slow pace, so I think this game goes over for sure. It's going to be one leg, as are all the NBA games, but I do think it goes over. So, again, as you can see, here are our picks. Now, this is completely up to you. Like I said, all the NBA games are going to be one leg. For Bulls, Hornets here, and this is just kind of an audible I had made right before the video, because I always like to give you guys exactly what I'm taking, okay? So that way everything's uniform and everything in the playlist adds up perfectly. That's why I do this the way I do, and that's why at the beginning of the video I explained this the way I did, because it really is, put out ahead of time. All you need to do is literally follow the exact, outside of me making the picks, literally going into your house and logging into your computer, you literally just need to follow these to be up 75 units at this point. And for the people that keep asking, I'm not trying to be rude, watch the playlist. If I'm going to make a playlist that answers all of your questions, and it's 66, episodes that I've made, and people are asking me these same questions, then, I'm not going to answer them. They're right there in the playlist, and you don't have to watch the whole thing. You literally just need to watch a string of 2 or 3 videos to see that these are all in live time, and we recap it every single night. No other channel can make that claim. Not even close to it. But that's the reason I'm just going into this, because I do it every video, but I get random people every video asking me questions. What's a leg 2? Like they've never seen one of my videos. Or who do you like in this game, when I've gone over it in the video? Or how many units are we up, when I go over it every single night? So, I'm just going over this because it's imperative to you guys, not to me, okay? This might sound rude. I'm doing fine either way, as you can see. I don't need to do this. I absolutely don't need to. But if you guys genuinely want to profit, you need to take the system seriously. You can't tell me, I followed the system, but I decided to parlay 3 games, even though you've specifically told me not to parlay. I'll get it back. No, you're not going to get it back, because you don't deserve it back, because you're blowing money. So this might sound like anger, or like, why do you care so much? I care because I went out of my way to make a free playlist when other people are charging money and losing people money. And I still have some people that are just making brain dead decisions instead of following the playlist that they admit works. So please, stop letting Vegas win. Stop doing stupid parlays, and stop doing 50 units on a game when every single time I go over why we close out losses after leg 3s. It's just not worth it, okay? If you don't know what I mean by close out losses after leg 3s, I advise you to watch my playlist. I go into all of this all the time. So, again, I'm trying to be nice, and, I think you guys know me, that I am a very honest person, but I can't hand walk people. I can't answer 50 questions every single video when I literally just went over it. So these are all leg 1s. Again, if anyone's been following, simply since after we got shut down, we restarted on the 27th of a month ago of December. They are up 75 units with me. Anyone that decided not to, good luck wherever you're at, but you can easily be where we're at by just following these picks going forward. And like I said, I know it's hard to stay disciplined. I know 1 unit doesn't sound so fun, but it adds up very, very quickly. So here's all of our picks. If one person, took my lecture seriously and maybe doesn't bet their house on the Suns just because I like them slightly, I would love that. I want people to understand we're not going to beat Vegas at a 60% clip. Just because I have been doesn't mean we're going to continue to do so. And even when you do, you have to account for juice. So nobody else is going to tell you guys this stuff. Nobody else is going to try and protect your bankroll without asking you for a dime. I'm doing it because nobody else is. Not only is nobody else doing it, we have people out there purposely giving terrible picks, inaccurate handles. Whoever's telling you guys the Chiefs are not getting picked and the Bengals have 70%, just tell that person whatever you want to. But you could tell them that National Sports Entertainment said they're full of shit. Because I'm tired of the comments on my page from people from other channels saying, "Oh, the handle's on the Bengals." No, it's not. Do you really think the books are going to give you the honest, accurate public handle so you can fade it and make money? And yeah, again, I'm just more disappointed. Maybe it's because, again, I'm remembering, we had thousands of people the first time. And I'm expecting that most people that are watching these videos have watched a few videos. So I'm sorry if I'm coming off short to people that are just watching the first or second video and you're, oh, why is this guy getting all mad? It's because I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos and I somehow still have people that can't follow the system. It's so bad that other channels have literally sent people into our Discord, got our picks, have admittedly won with our system. They still say, national sports entertainment sucks, but they admit it's a winning system. And they're using the system themselves. So when it's that obvious, I just implore people, it's not worth it to parlay all these picks that I have because you might get a 50,000 to 1 payout. It's much more worth it to just do what I've been saying since the very beginning. And as you can see, with $25 a unit, and that's what I personally play. If anyone that played $25 a unit tailed me, they're $17.50. And it's because we've closed 171 sequences. We've only not closed 12. 12 times 7. And then on one, I did 13 units. That's why it adds up to 90. It's simple math. Every single one of these picks was predicted live. The units were predicted live. They are all in the playlist, bar none. You will not be able to find any of these picks, win or loss, that I did not put in my playlist. So, again, there's no excuses. There's absolutely no excuses for anybody at this point not to be winning outside of just downright ignorance. So I hope you guys take this as a lesson, but also just something as to look for in the future. I can't hand walk everybody through every single pick. All I can do is hope that you understand by literally copy and pasting these, you would have been up 75 units. And I have people crying that they're down because they did 70 units on a team that they never should have done. I don't know why people would do that. Like, if you guys are doing that, then you just accept you're never going to win gambling and give Vegas all of your money right now. If you're not going to invoke discipline, money management, and metrics, and you're just going to decide that you think this team's going to win tonight and you're going to put a ridiculous amount on them, then honestly stop watching my channel, because my channel's not for you. My channel is for a long-term, disciplined money management system. And that's why we win every single night. Even when we're down on a given night, within 24 hours, we're back up. And again, that's not bragging. That's me going over what's happened since we've started. This is why we were shut down. Nobody else is going to be this honest with you guys. Nobody else is going to tell you guys, your problem is you're doing parlays, which is Vegas' favorite thing. These other guys are going to tell you to do parlays. So I might be coming off like a jerk, but I'm an honest jerk who's trying to help you guys. So, yeah, these are my picks for tonight. For the people that still have questions on the system, that still, have anything, again, watch the playlist. I'm going to refer to that. I'm going to sound like the president's press secretary with questions going forward, because until you watch the video of me proving something, I can't have you tell me, hey, what's this? Or, hey, I don't think this is as accurate, because you haven't even watched the video. You haven't watched my videos, and you're trying to assess my system. These are for the new people. Or you're trying to tell me, yeah, I don't understand how the system works. I don't get how many people are asking this question when I go into it specifically and very literally. I put it out there. I put the video out there. It's up to you guys to watch it, At the end of the day, it's up to you guys to decide, are you here for easy picks, or are you here to learn how to actually flip the odds in your favor? Okay? There's two very big differences. I'm not an easy pick guy. I am a blueprint person. This system has been working for 4 months. I'm going to use it no matter what. The probably, I'd say, 50 to 100 people that are talking to me in my Discord and sending me messages on here that are actually tailing correctly are doing phenomenal. The ones that are tailing, and then since they're up 50 units, they decide, hey, let's bet that 50 units on a parlay, and they lose it all. I'm sorry, but you deserve it. And yeah, hopefully 1% of you guys will understand, hey, if I actually learn the system, I can win money instead of these real dumb questions I've been getting. And this is for probably 5% of my comments. So if you want to read through my comments, most of you guys are great, but I get 5% of dumb people who just obviously need to be hand walked through life. And if something were to happen to me, God knows what they would do, because they can't function without me having a pick for a day. So yeah, if you need basic knowledge on how to make wagers, this is not the channel for you.